Welcome to Varsity. I am Bob Prisabillo. Joining me as always is Scott Wright, and today we're going to look back at Week 3, ahead to Week 4, make our locks of the week, and tell you where you can find us on Thursday and Friday. Scott, let's start with Week 3. What stood out to you?
On Friday night, I was at the Millwood-McGinnis game. McGinnis is a really good team. The thing that really stood out was the way that the Millwood defense was able to step up in the second half of that game, allowed 78 total yards in the second half, 2 touchdowns, and that is what really enabled Millwood to put this game away. It's been amazing to see how well this team has played against some really stout competition so far this year.
It's funny that you mentioned their defense as your player of the week. You give up 41 points. You're not expecting that, but you definitely said they stepped up in the second half. So that's not a big deal. It's a very good selection. As for me, I thought what stood out this last week was Norman. I really thought that Del City, with the offensive weapons they have, were really going to put it on the Tigers. But led by Greg Offenberger and George Kittle, Norman put it on the Eagles, 41-6. And through these first three games, Norman's given up 7 points, 7 points, and 6 points. We all know about their offense, and they have a lot of weapons there. But this defense might be what takes them to that next level. And now we'll look ahead to week 4. Scott, what are you looking for this week?
There are a couple of games that really stick out to me. One of those being Tuttle and Bridge Creek. Now I live right over in that area, not too far from Tuttle and Bridge Creek, and I go through that area a lot. It's amazing how close these two teams are to have never played before. And I understand that Tuttle's kind of been on a different level and things like that. Bridge Creek's really making a run now into establishing that football program. But I think that's going to be a really exciting rivalry kind of budding in that area out there. And also UConn and Midwest City. UConn is really excited about this game, and I'm sure that Midwest City is as well. I got to visit with Todd Wilson out there, and they're really pumped for the opportunity to go out and show what they can do and show how good they are this year. Because I know a lot of people are looking at that 3-0 start and kind of questioning what exactly how good is this team, and they're very excited for the opportunity. I think it's going to be a great game.
That should be an excellent game at Jim Darnell Stadium. As for me, there were a lot of big injuries in Week 3. Lawton suffered one, Deer Creek, Carl Albert, just to name a few. The Antlers lost Colton Sander for the year, and the Carl Albert quarterback, Dylan Dansby's going to have knee surgery. And it's just so tough, that first game, to try to see how they all bounce back. The Titans, they might have a week to kind of get things going with Western Heights, but for the Antlers, how can you lose one of your best players and be expected to go on the road to Guthrie and pull off a win? It's going to be a very tough task, and it's definitely going to be something that I'll be keeping my eye on during this entire week. Now it's time for our lock of the week. Scott, what are you looking at?
I mentioned the Tuttle Bridge Creek game. I know a lot of Tuttle fans. I went against you guys last week, and you were kind of excited because I missed the pick, and you guys won. So all those same fans are going to be mad at me this week. I'm locking the Tuttle Tigers in that game against Bridge Creek. I was on the phone with Ryan Spangler last night, the Bridge Creek quarterback, and he says things are just a little off. They need to pick things up. I think that Tuttle defense is going to be able to hold them down enough. You don't really stop that offense, but you can hold them down enough to put some points on the board and win that game. I'm going with Tuttle over Bridge Creek this week.
Now I'm going to your neck of the woods when you're talking about the Millers, and I'm going to pick the Bombers. I love what this team has, the speed on the defense, and how physical that defense can be. So many offensive weapons, from Greg Austin to James Flanders. This is a team that's been here before. They know exactly what to expect. And I don't even think that this is going to say that much bad about UConn. Still think the Millers are a really talented team, but the Bombers are just a step above them. And Scott, finally, where can we find you on Thursday and Friday?
A lot of good games this week. Thursday night, I'll be at Taft Stadium. John Marshall is hosting Bethany in a district opener. I think that's going to be a really good football game, really test that John Marshall defense with a Bethany offense that has a lot of weapons. And then Midwest City for Midwest City and UConn on Friday. I'm really looking forward to that one.
Thursday, you can catch me at Watland Stadium for Dell City and Edmond North. And then Friday, I make my trip back to McGinnis when Clinton comes to Pribble Stadium. Scott, appreciate you joining us. That's all the time we have for this week, but check us out every day at newsok.com/varsity for the best high school coverage anywhere.